Well, it looks like that we are live, but we're still waiting for some people to come in. So I'll give it a few more minutes before we start our first group support monthly Q&A for June.
Hello.
As you're joining, if you can go ahead and type in the comments your troop number and where you're from, that would be wonderful. We're going to probably start in about 2 more minutes.
Hi, Rachel.
So glad you could join us.
If you're just joining us, please put in your name and your troop number and where you're from in the comments.
We'd also love to hear what you're planning on doing this summer, now that it's finally here. Also, as the comment was saying, if you can put in the comment box whether or not your troop has been meeting virtually, we'd love to hear that. The wait time is always the worst.
Right.
The dead silence.
Yeah. At least we got some happy faces on the screen. Especially Noodle.
Hi, Leanne.
Well, let's see. Do we want to go ahead and get started?
Sure.
Okay. So I want to welcome everybody to our first, as I was saying earlier, Troop Support Monthly Q&A. We were told by some leaders that they really were hoping to get more information from us, and we figured that this was a great way in order to present some questions that a lot of leaders may have, especially pertaining to the particular month that we're in. So if you have any questions while we're going along, please don't hesitate to put them into the comment box. We would love to hear that. Plus, later down the road, so it gives you something to think about, we want to know additional questions you guys might have that we can possibly cover for our next Q&As. We are planning on doing these monthly. So if we're ready. Oh, Erin, can you present the PowerPoint, please? Sorry, guys, we're waiting for the PowerPoint to come up before we get going. Okay. So first off, we're gonna go ahead and introduce ourselves. My name is Rochelle. I handle membership coordinating. I'm a membership coordinator, and I handle the Idaho Falls Blackfoot up through Idaho Falls and Salmon area.
And I am Courtney, and I'm the membership coordinator for the Pocatello, Twin Falls, Soda Springs, Mulad areas.
Hi, I'm Maddie. I'm the program manager for Girl Scouts of Silver Sage.
Olive.
My name is Olive. My camp name is Noodle, and I'm the camp director for Girl Scouts of Silver Sage.
Okay.
So we're going to start with our agenda. We're going to start with recapping what's been going on for the last month. And then we will turn it over to Maddie, who will go over virtual meetings, and then to Olive for virtual camp. And then we're going to cover a form that you're commonly to see in the next month. We have a few shout outs, some reminders, and then we'll open it up for questions.
So the first thing I wanted to do was recap what happened this month. As you all know, we've been pushing early bird. It's supposed to end on July 30th. With that, you get some girl incentives. They will actually get an Izzy patch that's really cute. This is the second bird that we have in this series. The leaders will be getting 4 baskets potentially. Well, they'll be put into a drawing for. The first one will be hiking. Then we've got picnic, games, and art. Personally, I want the one that is for games because I think that would be a lot of fun to do with the troop, and plus my girls and I really love to play games. So I personally want that one. The leaders can get a patch as well, just like the girls can. And this is what the patch looks like. Service units can also have incentives where they get $2 per girl. The other additional thing that we did this month is we had 3 additional drawings, one each week. This particular week, we already posted on our website page who the winners were, and the adult actually won a lifetime membership. How wonderful is that? It's like a $400 value. That would be awesome to get personally, I think. Then the other thing I wanted to mention was annual reports. Please make sure that you get, if you haven't already, the annual reports into us, because it's really helpful for us as well as you as a leader to be able to plan out your year. And we certainly know that things are kind of crazy right now, but we really need to get them in, and we don't like having to bother you to be able to get them in. Also, service units are supposed to be getting their annual report in as well. They're due on July 1st. And the service unit report is actually on our website, where they will go under the volunteer tab under forms, and it will be right here where you'll see that has the service unit annual report. Again, I wanted to let you know, normally the troop annual report is due on July 1st, and well, June 1st, sorry. That's because VTK is usually down by July 1st. We just found out yesterday, though, that this has been extended, and we'll have more information on that later in the presentation. But I just kind of wanted to let you know that that has been extended while I'm trying to recap what we've got going on. Now, I wanted to let you know about our first guest speaker, who is our wonderful program manager that does an amazing job, Maddie.
Thank you so much, Rochelle. As Rochelle mentioned, I am the program manager for Girl Scouts of Silver Sage. And one reason why we have so much experience doing these virtual platforms is because, as you might have known, we have moved a lot of our summer camp programming into the virtual world. We've also been doing live series and some badge workshops. So our team has been trying really hard since this pandemic has started to make sure that we feel comfortable in the virtual world, so that way we can help you guys as well. So we know that you've probably had to cancel a lot of really fun things planned for your girls, and you're trying to keep some sense of normalcy in all of this. And a virtual troop meeting is a great way to do that if it's something right for your troop. So I looked through a lot of different recommendations from GSUSA and other troop leaders and have kind of gotten it down to some key points that I think are going to be really helpful if you haven't done a virtual troop meeting before, or maybe you've done it once and you're looking for a little extra help. So on this first slide, there are kind of 4 categories that I thought about when thinking about the virtual space. And the first one is to consider your technology. So the girls in your troop, you know them, do they have access to a tablet, a laptop, a phone? Are they using a school-provided tablet or a parent-provided device? And do they have internet access, or are they able to get onto some of the things that you're needing from them? The next one is the logistics in general of your meeting. So in general, try and keep your meetings as close to your original troop meetings as possible in terms of time, and also like order of things. Try and keep things in the same order so the girls feel that it is still a troop meeting. One great thing to do when you are first entering the virtual world is to set some expectations as a group. And that's really good in terms of knowing what the girls are expecting from you, what you're expecting of the girls, and also how to behave in this space. So some girls have experience raising their hand in the virtual world and others don't. So being sure to know that in your troop, this is what we do in this world and how girls are to interact in it. You might have to model some of the features, especially if you're working with younger girls. It's going to be harder for them to find certain things, but hopefully they have an adult human with them that's able to help. And lastly, with the logistics too, definitely ask the adult humans to your girls to stay with them. It helps you maintain ratio that we'll talk about later on, but also it is just nice to have an extra person there to help troubleshoot things. The next one is to adapt traditions when possible. So we talked about we want to keep a sense of normalcy for the girls, and so that's gonna look a little bit different. One thing that we've done, as you can tell here, is create a PowerPoint to keep us on track. So that can help keep you on track, keep you moving along, have some visuals, things to keep the girls focused on. And something that we noticed definitely in our first all-staff meeting is that it's really hard to do the promise and law in a virtual environment because everyone's computer is at a different time. I personally say embrace the chaos for a little bit. It's really fun to do it together. And then there's also opportunities to, like, instead of singing Make New Friends at the end, you can play a video and they can sing along with it. And lastly, you want to keep the troop moving forward. So we're setting expectations for the troop in terms of what can we accomplish in this new environment. If you had fun field trips or activities planned, maybe see if the girls have a great idea to do a virtual tour of these. And in general, the girls might be interested in doing different things now that they're working from home primarily. So be sure to ask them if there are new things that they're interested in trying. Next slide. So as a team, so at Girl Scouts Silver Sage, we have been using Zoom a lot. And I would say it's the platform that we're most comfortable with. And so it's one that I'm going to highlight because I'll be speaking about it, and I'm sure Olive will give some examples from it as well. So why Zoom is really cool. One, there's a free subscription available, which is awesome. The only downfall is your meetings have to be, they end at 40 minutes, so it does have to be shorter. There is a paid version, but having a free option is always best. And you don't have to download it. So parents don't have to worry about having things downloaded on their devices before entering the meeting. Some of our favorite things from it is that, of course, the host can share their screen just like we're doing now, sharing our PowerPoint. We can also create breakout rooms. So imagine that we're in a multi-level troop and we come together in the beginning to do our promise and law and walk through some business. And then we go into breakout rooms where they're divided by level. So that's a really, really fun thing that we use a lot, especially for small discussion, that helps the girls feel like it's an interactive environment. The next one is the whiteboard annotation. So Olive will probably have some examples to this, but your girls can actually draw on the screen for Zoom using the annotation feature. And so what we do is put up a coloring page and let them just color it, or we'll use it for activities when we're trying to gauge interest. And there's a lot of really fun ways to use that whiteboard. And the last one that I really love personally is the virtual background. In my case right now, my background isn't too horrible, but sometimes you really want to jazz it up. I found a really cool Millennium Falcon background, and that's always a fun way to jump into your meeting and have everyone feel really excited. Next slide. Of course, since we are entering into a new world in terms of virtual troop meetings, and something that as we move through it, we're going to learn more and more. And so these are just some of the top things that we do to make sure that we're keeping our Zoom meetings safe. And at the end of my slides, there are some resources that we will make sure to link into this that can go deeper into how to prevent anything bad from happening on Zoom. Some of the ones I like to point out here is that Zoom meetings are password protected. So you have to give the password to people to get in, which can control who is accessing that meeting. You can also enable a waiting room and make sure no one can join before you. So you and your co-leaders, your other volunteers can be in the room before the girls get there and let them in when you're ready. It's always a little startling when you go into a meeting and someone's already there and you're like, oh no, how long have you been here? How long have you been waiting for me?
Uh-oh, she froze up. I'm gonna give her a couple minutes, and if you have any questions as she's talking, please type them into the comment log, and when she gets back, she will be able to answer them and help.
I also wanted to say welcome to Michael and Nancy. Glad you guys could join us.
Do we have you back, Maddie?
Am I back?
Okay, good.
Aha, hi.
Hey.
If we can just start off at the next slide, I think we're good. All right. So in here, Olive, feel free to jump in at any time. I started to type out some of our favorite things to do in Zoom to make it fun and interactive and not like you're sitting in front of a webinar all day. The number one would have to be scavenger hunt. Olive, would you like to share how you've been doing some different scavenger hunts?
Yeah, so we have been doing scavenger hunts at Camp Echo, Camp Spirit, a virtual camp this summer. And we've been doing them a couple ways. So the first way is a reverse scavenger hunt, where you have the girls just grab random stuff from the house. So you're like, you need to find 12 items. And you've written down on a list of like toothbrush, paintbrush, water bottle, toilet plunger, stuffed animal, something fuzzy. And then the girls come back and they don't know what's on your list. And then you call it out and they get points for everything that they brought. So that's super fun. We can also do scavenger hunts based around themes. So one of them is like colors. This is really good for little girls. Of like they have to find something that's red and something that's orange and something that's blue. And they love to share when they get back. So you're like, hold up something blue. And they're like, woohoo! And you're like, what is that? And they're like, it's a mask. That's great. You got that. And then you're like, hold up something yellow. And they're like, and you're like, oh, it's a marker. That's also wonderful. And then for older girls, we've been doing all about me scavenger hunts. So they can show things to their peers that they normally don't get to show because of items live in their house. So we've been having a ton of fun with scavenger hunts, and it makes it feel less like staring at a screen because the girls are able to get up and move and then come back and share.
Thank you, Olive. We did one of those with Olive during a pre-camp session, and it was so fun. And my favorite part was that when Olive said, okay, hold up something that's fluffy, everyone held up a cat at the same time. And that was too good. I really enjoyed that. Another activity on here that I really like, especially if your girls are really artsy, is to bring back show and tell, bring back sketchbook sharing. So let girls bring in maybe their sketchbook and share different art that they've done, or have someone a set show and tell time. Girls love to share in this virtual environment with their friends, and so giving them the opportunity to do so is really important. Another one that I personally would like to try very soon is called a PowerPoint party. So you let your girls decide a topic all on their own. They get to make their own PowerPoint about any topic and then present it. And you can get some of the funniest presentations. This one that I put in here is my fast food orders. So her PowerPoint was all about the things she orders when she goes to different fast food restaurants. That's very informational and would teach you a lot about a person. And then another one that's really exciting is that there's an opportunity to bring in guest speakers who maybe wouldn't be able to come into a traditional troop meeting. So we've had people come in to talk to girls during our badge workshops, and it's been really fun to have a new face, a new person to talk to girls and still get them excited. All right, next slide. All right, so one feature I wanted to talk about is called Girl Scouts at Home. GSUSA released this really when the pandemic started. It has been awesome about updating it. And the reason I want to talk about it is that it is such a great tool for leaders, especially during this time, in terms of finding activities that work in the environment that we're in. If something I would love to hear just as you're listening is if you've done things in the virtual environment that really worked for you, please drop them into the comments. If you tried a different type of scavenger hunt or you found some new way to engage online, please drop them in the comments. We would love to hear them.
Kate says that she went to San Diego Zoo to watch animals live virtually.
Oh, how fun. Oh, with her daisies. Cute. Yeah, so zoos would be super fun to do. So on this slide, this is the main page for Girl Scouts at Home, and it is divided up into levels. So in this example, I clicked on juniors, so you can go to the next slide. And everything is organized really well. It's organized badges by pillar. So I scrolled down to STEM, and these were the badges that they had ready for STEM that I could access. The one that really caught my eye was the Design a Mars Rover one, so I clicked on that. And what came with it was a video that you can see in the bottom right corner of a Girl Scout doing the activity and leading it. And then also with that comes the activity details, so the actual materials and directions. But this is something that if your girls have the materials at home, they can watch this video beforehand and share their Mars rover out during the meeting, or it's something that you can all follow along with together. And it's a really great resource. It's on gsusa.org under Girl Scouts at Home. Another feature of Girl Scouts at Home is that, and I don't have a slide for this one, unfortunately, they have a virtual events calendar. So this is pretty new and something I was so excited about because GSUSA does a ton of virtual events all throughout the year, and they have them displayed on a calendar now, just like our event calendar. And there are so many different things on there. Some of them we are trying to feature in our Grow at Home newsletter, but of course there's so many out there. So I highly recommend you go onto the event calendar and see if there are things your girls are interested in attending. There's lots of different workshops on for all levels and for all different interests. So please check that one out. All right, next slide. So these are some commonly asked questions that I saw just throughout my research and throughout being in the virtual environment and what Olive and I have had ourselves as questions. So the first one is, do we need to maintain ratio? And short term, yes, of course. And how we best do that in this environment is ask your adult humans attached to your Girl Scouts to stay with them during the meeting, especially if they're younger, to help maintain that 1-to-1 ratio. And then from there, following standard troop ratio, which is 2-to-8. What if your girl doesn't have internet? A lot of platforms do have cell phone apps and call-in options. So they can call in from a landline or a cell phone. And that is something that if there are enough girls that in your troop that don't have the internet, it might be worth talking about if the virtual meeting environment is quite right, or maybe it might be a phone meeting. What if my girls don't have the materials needed? This one was so fun to see happen last week at camp from Olive. Encourage them to problem solve, encourage them to think outside the box. They were building hoverboards at day camp or on virtual camp, and one of the girls did not have a straw in her house. And so they were trying to brainstorm what could be a straw, what could work as a straw. And finally they're like, oh, there's paper straws. And so she rolled up a piece of paper into a paper straw and was able to use that. So really encourage them to think outside the box and try something different. It might work better than what was originally intended to be there. What if my girls are not engaged? In general, your younger girls are going to need more support in this environment. The older girls have most likely finished up school now in this environment and have been to meetings before, and the older girls that we've interacted with feel really comfortable here, which is so exciting to see and something I wasn't expecting, but they're definitely better than me at everything to do with Zoom. So the younger girls may need more support in terms of helping them understand how to navigate Zoom, how to raise their hand in Zoom, and that's where having the 1-to-1 adult-human ratio is really helpful. It's also important to make sure that you're taking breaks, just like the scavenger hunt, making sure you're getting up and running around and doing something new, and we're not just sitting in our chair during the whole meeting. And the biggest one that I think is most important is just to manage expectations of you and your troop. So understanding as a troop, what does a successful meeting look like in the virtual environment? It's going to look different than it did in person, but as a troop, what are we going to do to make sure that it's still successful? And lastly, what if girls drop the call and can't get back in? Or what if a girl misses a meeting? What we try and do is to send the meeting agenda beforehand with the curriculum, just so the girl, if they drop out for 5 minutes and they jump back in, they know where we're at because 5 minutes have passed. Or if they're not there and the activity is sent to them, then they're able to complete the activity from home on their own time. There are options to record your platform in Zoom, and it's something that we don't recommend for a lot of safety reasons, but some troops may see the need to record their meeting for maybe someone who wasn't there or another purpose. And really, if that is something that you're intending on doing, you'll need to confirm consent from every one of your girls and their adult humans before recording or doing anything like that. Next slide. Sweet. So these resources lead to various things that will be helpful for you in the virtual environment, how to keep a girl led in this environment, how to protect your Zoom meeting, and most importantly, the Internet Safety Pledge for Girl Scouts. We highly, highly urge that all of your girls that are going to be in a virtual meeting take this Internet Safety Pledge through GSUSA. So at this time, I think, if anyone has questions about virtual meetings or anything around that, now is the time to ask.
Can I ask you a question? So is there a way for leaders to know going through VTK if a badge is virtual friendly?
Yeah, absolutely. So great question, Courtney. So next month, or I guess available for the next planning year, in the VTK, they are indicating which badges are best to do or that work best in the virtual environment. So there will be like a little tag on it, a little icon that states this one is great for a virtual meeting.
Perfect. That is very helpful.
Kay is also asking ideas for virtual bridging.
That's a great question.
Is there any other troops out there that have done a virtual bridging that would like to share what they have done? Not that I'm taking away from you, Maddie. You are.
Oh no, that's a great question. I didn't look into that. I'm thinking like, okay, if it's bridging and it's about like tradition and going to the next level, what traditions do you usually do and how could they be still done but in a different way? But at this point, I'm just brainstorming. So yeah, I'd love to hear what other people are planning or what they have done for bridging in virtual environment.
One of the things that just popped into my head, a lot of people are making videos right now where they pass something from one video to the next. So traditional bridging would be passing the candle and lighting your candle. So if every girl made a video of them getting handed a candle, light the candle, and then pass it off to the next girl, that would be a really cute way to share.
That is such a cute idea. I love that.
It reminds me of TikTok, how they do the, reaching here and then moving it here or moving it up here, moving it down.
Rachel had a good question. How do you best manage girls who don't use the video or use chat to communicate? I'll speak a little bit on it, but Olive, if you'd like to jump in on this one too, that would be really helpful. Something that I really like, I would say prefer, is to have at least two people running it, so like a host and a co-host. And the co-host is really someone who helps manage the chat log. And so if girls are using that as their form of communication, that way they are able to then be like, hey, Maddie, slow down, so-and-so didn't get this. And there's someone really advocating for them, because some girls don't have video, don't want to use it, or feel more comfortable typing.
There's also a question where they're wanting to know, how else do you get parents involved with meetings or assisting to run meetings? And she also liked the candle idea too. That was from Kate.
I think something nice about Girl Scouts at Home is that anyone can access it. So really urging parents and even sending them the direct link, like, hey, this is the activity I was looking at and it sounds really fun. Is there someone who'd be willing to lead this? And having a video of how to lead it, and it right there might be some way to help them feel comfortable stepping in like that.
Nancy had commented that her girls want to hold off until they are in person. And I think I felt the same way until I started getting involved with Olive's scavenger hunt. And it was so much fun that I didn't realize how fun virtual could actually be.
That is such a good point. And I want to reiterate that as well, that I think when we first heard virtual camp, a lot of us felt sad. And now we're a couple weeks into it. And Olive can attest to this. We had girls not getting off the call. They were having too much fun. We had to shut down the meeting because they wouldn't leave, because they're having a lot of fun. And even I know, like, communicating us, in our work, it's been really awesome to do this. And so I totally understand if your girls it's not something they're interested in, but I would say you can't knock it till you try it. And so they should really try and just do one meeting.
You can keep leaving your questions in the comment log. Now, probably a really good time to pass it on to Olive, aka Noodle, our fabulous outdoor director. On to you, Matt. Olive.
Hi, welcome everyone. My name is Olive. My camp name is Noodle, and I've been having a little bit of technical difficulty with the sound. Rochelle or Courtney, if you can give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Yay, that's great. So my role at Girl Scouts is I am the camp director, and this summer I am the camp director of Camp Echo, which is a day camp program, and Camp Spirit, which is our virtual camp program. And today I'm so excited to share with you about Camp Spirit, our camp. We have about it. Or maybe we don't have a couple slides. At Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Awesome. So fun. So we put together Camp Spirit to be a traditional Girl Scout camp experience from home. So every day at Camp Spirit, we are doing so much fun stuff to the point where the girls are telling us things like, I had so much fun doing all the activities that you posted that I forgot to play Xbox. Wow. What a great compliment that children are telling you that they forgot that they have an Xbox because they're having so much fun. So every week we have a different theme, including Great Girl Scout Bake Off, which is next week. We have some me and my gal and Jack and Jill weekends for parents to come and join us, art weekend, art camps, outdoor camps. And every day we do 2 live Zoom sessions with our most favorite camp counselor, Panda, and our most favorite camp coordinator, Tundra. And sometimes I'm there, and sometimes our camp counselor, Fizzy, is there too. And we do things live with the girls. So maybe we might make a hover plate. We might do a no-bake cookie. The girls really wanted last week to do a pet parade where they just showed off their pets, which was really awesome. And I got to meet 2 snails that were named Brownie and Booger, which is really funny. So we are having a ton of fun online. The girls are interacting with each other. They're talking with each other. They're creating friendships. Then at the end of our first week, all of our girls were from different states. So we had a girl from Florida and a girl from New York and a girl from California, and they were so sad to leave each other because they had built such great friendships with each other just by talking and goofing and sharing riddles and sharing jokes. And then also we are using an online platform that we are able to upload PowerPoints and videos and worksheets and activity directions for girls to do offline. So last week, each of our girls earned 3 different badges over the course of the week just by playing and doing things online and offline with us. And it was really amazing because the girls would come in every morning and they'd wave and they're so excited to see us and big good mornings. And they really built a friendship and with their camp counselor and also just really wanted to share what they did. One day we did the solar ovens where the girls wrapped the boxes in the tin foil and tried to cook in them outside. And it was really fun to compare and contrast what our girl in Alaska was able to cook versus our girl in New York. It was much hotter in New York than it was in Alaska last week. So we have different themes all summer to keep girls interested in coming back and learning different things. So for example, we have a Tri-Wizard tournament camp where we're able to do a lot of Harry Potter stuff. We have a wilderness girls camp, which is a nature-based camp, animal lovers. So all of our girls that really love animals, as well as some programs that are a little bit more specialized, like our Just for Daisies program, is a great opportunity for our really young ones to get online. So that's a little bit about our virtual camp. It's really fun. I'm currently at virtual camp, as you can see in my background. That's me at Camp Spirit. And I would love to answer all your questions about it. And I would love for you to come and play with us.
If you have any questions for Olive, please put them in the comment box. And Olive would be happy to answer them. So Rachel said they are so excited for Camp Bake Off next week.
I am so excited for the Bake Off too. I am hoping to make something super delicious. I know you all have been hearing about our super awesome scavenger hunts. We will be doing those next week too at the Bake Off. Maybe for kitchen stuff, yet to be decided.
And
So
Kate,
go ahead, Courtney.
so Kate said how she would love to do a movie night with her girls. And any suggestions on video platforms? Can it be done through Zoom? And how would it look? The girls talk to each other. These are amazing questions, and I know I've seen a troop because all of the girls had Netflix. So they had set up that they would all start watching the same movie at the same time. That may be hard if you have a group of girls and everybody has Netflix. I would love to see other people's suggestions that they had done.
Olive and Maddie, both, I have a question. Kate wants to know, how do you guys deal with girls that talk all at once?
One of the best features of being a host is the mute all button. So you can keep them on mute and ask them to raise their hand either like this or actually like press the button before, and that usually helps. Something I saw about the video thing I want to mention was I saw a really cool thing where the girls would watch the video beforehand and then review it during their meeting. So they would actually review if they liked the movie or not as a whole troop. I really liked that.
Nancy, I was told that you had a virtual dinner meeting. Kate is wanting to know how you did that. If you can put that in the comment box and then we can relay it to everybody, that would be wonderful. So Olive and Maddie, what is your favorite part of doing virtual meetings and camp?
I would say the first one is like the bond that girls get in the virtual environment is something we did not expect would happen, and it happens very quickly. They remember each other's names, they remember each other's pets' names, and so that's just so fun to see them be able to bond in a place that we didn't think that that was possible.
That's kind of interesting how we've really transitioned over to everything right now, pivoted. It's been kind of awesome. And then I want to know before, because I know some leaders, they really stress out about having these virtual meetings. What do you do in preparation, or how do you handle it so you're not so stressed out or nervous before the meeting? Because I heard one leader, she actually didn't even get any sleep the night before because she was so nervous and stressed out about it. Yeah,
that is absolutely a feeling we probably have all felt here. And even though I've been doing these lives and stuff for a while, I still sweat every time I do them. But something that really helps me is to have a script. It's not something I read off of by any means. I have it up in another tab right now, but it's something for me to always go back to. Also, having slides is really helpful. And then another thing it's hard to, like, it's a mindset, but you're not a TED Talk. You're not the host of this big thing. They're a troop leader, and they know you and they want to see you. And so know that this is a space that you can feel comfortable in. It feels awkward because you're probably watching yourself the whole time, like I am, but it's still a place that you can be natural and be yourself and be candid and have the funny conversations you do. And it's gonna take time. It's just gonna take practice. A good thing to do might be get you and your co-leaders and your friends on beforehand and just talk on Zoom for a while, so you get comfortable with, like, where am I looking? What is in my frame? Like, what's going on?
Well, and I think sometimes too, we have to remember that we're human. Things are just going to happen. Go with the flow. Don't worry if something doesn't go as planned. That's just the way it would have happened probably in real life anyway. How about you, Olive?
So I think that someone asked me a question, but sometimes we also have technology problems, which makes it hard to understand what's going on. But then we just go with the flow. So it sounded like everyone was in a washing machine, but I think that we're talking about how we just are trying our best at doing virtual programs and learning and growing every day. I know that by doing virtual camp, the first time we did it, I chose an activity that I was like, afterwards, I was like, no, never again, not doing that one. Too many supplies. It requires the children to be outside, and then needs an adult human. And then you just get better and better and better at it as you do it. And the girls they just want to have fun and they just want to see you. So that's my tip for virtual programs. It's just trying and trying. And then also, I think that just like with a regular troop meeting or a regular summer camp, coming in prepared. It's harder to wing it virtually because you're not able to just be like, hey, everyone, look, a deer. Let's look at it for 4 hours. You have to have things prepared. But as a troop leader, you've already been doing that for years. You're already really good at that. And having that second activity and that third activity all lined up. So those are my tips for virtual programs. If that was not the question, I really apologize. I was not able to hear what was going on.
You did awesome.
Technology is hard.
I'm also curious to
We're
know,
all learning.
I want each of you to share with me your funniest time you've had during the virtual so far. And put them on the spot.
I like Maddie's funniest that everybody came up with a cat for fun. I think.
I have another one. Mine's from the live. We've been doing the Facebook lives. I found out my mom is my biggest fan, and she's in every one, and she asks questions constantly. So that's been a fun one because I didn't tell her about them. She just found them. I'm trying to think about one from actual like virtual camp though.
Well, if you guys that are watching, if you have any funnies that have happened, put them in the comment as well. We'd like to see what they are.
I saw Rachel is talking about the cupcake decorating challenges. Those are really fun. I'm in a couple of Facebook groups that they've been like troop leaders to be like, we just did a toast challenge and like which one is your favorite toast? And they get like thousands of likes from people voting on different toast decorations. So that's been a really fun one to see.
Hey, girls get pretty creative too. It amazes me.
And I just want to say that if you have comments to anything we're saying, even if you're not watching this live, please put it in the comments because leaders and parents are going to come back later and still read through these. And so we want to know what the things you are doing and your question.
Yes, most definitely. So Kate was saying that her funniest was at the zoo because the girls were jumping up and down when they saw the animals or got closer to the screen. That would have been funny to see.
All their faces get bigger.
As they like, you know.
How fun.
We did camp.
Nancy was
We did
saying
a campfire night before.
Go ahead, Olive.
this is exactly the problem that it's all you, Olive.
So we did a virtual campfire with camp last week, and we had the girls all plan skits. And it turns out that our girls didn't really understand what skits were. So I got to see a lot of really great gymnastics moves, and then girls making up songs on the spot, which was just adorable. And then as girls shared her screen and showed us a video that she had made with her stuffed animals, was hilarious. And it was all just like the most fun. And when the girls had to log off, they're like, but can we keep doing this? This is just so fun. And I'm like, it's 8 p.m. and some of you live on the East Coast and it's 10 p.m. You gotta go to bed. But they were loving it so much. And it was so funny to just watch them do gymnastics and sing songs and do all that fun stuff.
So Rachel commented that their funniest was they played a game saying crazy sentences with different inflections. So happy, sad, angry. There's a purple cupcake in my yard screaming tacos. I love this because it shows how inflection can change a total meaning of a sentence. That is a really good idea.
That's a lesson as far as virtually, even if you just type it, that can totally mean something different if you can't hear how they're saying it.
And I completely agree with Leanne's running around the house during Olive's scavenger hunt. She said 30 more seconds, guys, and I forgot myself, and I was like a kid, total kid again. Yes, and I was so excited when I found a toothbrush and it was on the list, because who just grabs a toothbrush?
It makes us be kids all over again. How fun is that?
That was fun to see how many random people had a toothbrush in their pile, too.
That was awesome.
It's too good.
Well, we would love you to keep posting your questions, and if Maddie and Olive would like to stay with us till the end, maybe we'll might have some more time to answer some questions. We have a few more things to cover, and then we will come back with questions.
So now I was wanting to talk about right now the form that pretty much comes up often because of the year that we're in by doing early bird. A lot of parents are wanting, and leaders are wanting to know, can you get reimbursed for cookie dough? Can I get, can I actually even get my membership doing cookie dough? And is it very difficult? So the answer to all of that is that no, the process is not difficult. Yes, you can actually register online and then get your cookie dough reimbursed. And this is how you do it. I'll put the presentation, get the presentation up here and show you. If you go to our website, under the volunteer tab, you will see over on the left, and you scroll down, that they'll have the renew. If you go ahead and click that, once you get to that page, it's going to scroll down until you get to the early bird renew and incentives. You'll see there that there's a few different options that you can choose, but you want to go ahead and select the cookie dough reimbursement and troop for online Girl Scouts. And then you'll actually, once you click it, you'll get this form. So there's a couple things that I wanted to let you know on this form. This is just the top portion because I couldn't fit the whole form on the slide without it being really small, and I didn't want to make you guys go like this when you were trying to see it. So you want to make sure that you keep your receipt after you do your registration, because you will need to make sure that that is attached when you submit this form. And then you're probably asking, can we actually use this for the cookie dough for the rest of the family? The answer to that is yes and no. Yes, you can use it for sisters that have the cookie dough, but you cannot use it for any other members in the family, like mom and dad or any other guardian. You just have to indicate on the cookie dough that it is for this girl and that she is her sister. And then once you are done with the form, you fill out just the top portion here, which is pretty simple, by putting in the troop leader, your service unit, who to mail it to, and the address. One thing I did want to note on the payment, sometimes you will get a check, but there are also times that you will just see that it will be posted back to the card that you actually did the registration online with. So you just kind of want to watch that while you are. It usually takes about 2 to 3 weeks after you have submitted it. And again, you can submit that to either, let me go back to that slide, I apologize. You can either send it here to this email address that's on the top of the form, or you can drop it off at the office. They do need the cookie dough attached though. If you're happening to do it regionally, right now that's a little bit more difficult for us just because it's harder for us to meet you with everything going on with the COVID. But if you do, you can contact either Courtney or I, and we can set up a time where we can actually get that as well, and then we can get over to regional for you. It may take a little bit more time getting it there though, because again, we don't go to Boise that often as well. If you do have any questions though, you can also contact customer care. That's here on the form. At the bottom of the form, you'll see that you will actually enter in the girls' name that have the cookie dough, what year the cookie dough is, and then enter in how much they have per dollar. So the $5, $10, and $25, and then what the total amount is. And then you want to put the grand total. Again, you'll attach the receipt when you submit this over to either the office or send it in through the through mail, sorry. And does anybody have any questions on that before we move on?
If you have questions, we will get to them at the end. If we want to
Move
Just-
on.
please put them into the comment box. So next slide. So one of the things that we're super excited to start bringing you on our monthly Q&As is shout outs. If you have anybody you want to shout out, please send us a shout out to customer care. We would love to include them on the monthly shout outs. Leaders, parents, volunteers are the most important part of having Girl Scouts. So drum roll is Amy Daniello. She is the troop cookie manager for Troop 709. Not only did she take on everything that it takes to be a troop cookie manager, but she was pregnant at the same time, which is just crazy to me. And we really appreciate her gung-ho attitude and enthusiasm for Girl Scouts.
Great job, Amy. That's awesome.
Our second shout out is Angie Curtis from Troop 561. Angie took over as a troop leader for a multi-level troop in the past year. Following her throughout her year, she has done an amazing job at keeping the troop engaged and girl-led. Her parents and other volunteers have thrived, and when asked about the troop, she receives top kudos.
Angie, that's amazing, because that's a real challenge just to even do a troop, but let alone taking one over. So congratulations on that. That's awesome.
And our last shout out for this month is Maria Simon from Troop 3. Maria took over for a large troop also, and also served as the cookie manager for the troop, which 2 jobs at the same time. They're both huge jobs.
Especially during this time with the way how crazy cookie season was. That's awesome, Maria.
She's always greets you with a smile and has a great can-do attitude. Thank you, Maria.
Cool.
We want to say thank you to all of our shout outs. And again, if you have somebody you want to shout out, please send us your shout outs.
Congratulations. So proud, happy for you guys. Thank you. Thank you. So I just wanted to go over a few reminders for you guys. Again, I talked earlier in the presentation that you guys want to make sure that if you aren't already, please do get registered. Early bird does end on June 30th. This really does help you out as a leader, not only because you know who is going to be in the troop, but also then you're able to plan for the next year. It's always very beneficial. Plus, it helps out your service unit so that they're able to actually put on events and activities for you. It helps them supplement that. Also, I wanted to remind everybody about the annual reports as a troop and also a service unit. If you've already sent in your troop's annual report or your service unit one, I really do appreciate it. It really does help us a lot. And I know that it's really been a struggle this year. So we do totally understand how difficult this has been. So thank you very much. And if you guys have any questions or any problems while doing this, if you haven't submitted it, please do contact us. We're more than happy to help you get through it, or go ahead and email it to us and we'll reach out to you. So one thing I did want to mention, and I mentioned it kind of at the beginning, normally the VTK, the Volunteer Toolkit, it goes down the first part of July. And that's why we always ask that you have your annual reports in so that you have an opportunity to do it online, because it's so much easier and we don't lose the paperwork and like it used to be where you would actually mail it in to us. We just found out yesterday, though, that they have actually extended the where you can look at the finance tab and also your year meeting to July 31st. Now, one thing I did want to make sure that I mentioned to you is that your yearly plan for the new year, you won't actually be able to see that until July 21st, and only if you have actually registered for the new year. So you want to make sure, that's another reason why you need to get in and you need to get registered. Sometimes you might even find that you're not showing that you're active. This happens sometimes too with people who are lifetime members. So if that does happen, please let us know so that we can go ahead and get that fixed for you, because we don't want to cause any delays for you, make things as easy as possible if we can for you. The year plan for the 2019 and 2020, you will actually be able to see that up until the 31st if you are registered for next year. If you aren't, you won't be able to. So again, that's another reason why you want to make sure that you are registered. At that time, they're going to be archiving everything, so they're getting ready for the new program that will be rolling out July 21st. So when you go into VTK, it does actually give you a message here, and you'll see that where it tells you that everything is going to be archived. Please note that when you're looking at this, you will see just any girl or adult that happens to be a volunteer that is registered for membership year 21 after July 21st. So if you call us up and say that you don't see them, it's probably just because they need to be registered. So we'll look into that for you, but definitely do let us know. And there won't be any attendance or any activities until July 21st. You will see this when you go into VTK, but I just wanted to give you guys a heads up so you're not surprised when you get in there and you see that. And if there's any questions on this part, please do let me know. All right, I guess we'll go on with the rest of the reminders.
So a reminder of upcoming July events. Again, we have Camp Echo and Camp Spirit. Please get online and register before they fill up. And we want you to get a spot, so do it quick. We also have some science samplers coming up with Maddie at our Girl Scout headquarters. And if you know any girls interested in Girl Scouts, we have some recruitment, some Discover Girl Scouts events. We also have the Geology of National Parks Facebook Live events coming up and much more. So we highly suggest you get online and check out our event calendar. Things are added constantly, so check it often. Next slide. Again, we plan on doing this question and answer every month to try to get on top of what is going to come up and what the most common questions are. If you have anything you would like to have covered, please let us know. Our plan is to do it the fourth Wednesday of every month from 7 to 8 p.m. And next month, I am so excited about this. Maddie is going to join us again, and she is going to unveil the 24 new badges that GSUSA is coming out with. So if you want to hear it first, you need to join us on our July question and answer.
One other reminder. Oh, sorry, Courtney. Go ahead. I was going to say one other reminder I wanted to say is please make sure that you are checking on our website for any additional COVID guidelines, because things are kind of changing right now. I know that some areas that we do have, well, like Boise has went back to stage 3. Some of the rest of the region is at stage 4. So please make sure before you do any activities or think of doing any traveling to check out these guidelines, because they're trying to keep these updated as soon as we have information to share to you.
And a reminder that we have Scouting Stars, our virtual, in a new virtual format. So check our calendar again.
Yes, some exciting times coming up.
Yes. If you have any questions, take a couple minutes. We'll let Maddie and Olive answer some questions, or if you have any questions on what we have talked about.
And we really do want to hear other questions that you may have that you want us to cover. So we want to make this as informative for you guys, what you guys need to make your job easier and your life easier.
How would you recommend doing a take action project online for girls doing shopping for a donation? Example, for the animal shelter. In essence, spending money the girls earned. How would you recommend doing that?
There might be a couple questions in that, so I'm gonna like pull one out. The Take Action project is gonna depend on which one you're picking, honestly. With a lot of the STEM ones, there are online Take Action platforms for Girl Scouts that have been designed that are available through the VTK that will actually walk them through those Take Action projects. In general, though, I would urge your girls to think of projects as they're developing their project, think about what is feasible in this environment. A lot of girls who are doing their Bronze Award right now have also done a similar thing where the completion of the award might be later, but they've established the steps to get there and what they can do now. So there's kind of a lot of options there. That's something, though, if you are struggling with, would love to work with you one-on-one, feel free to email me, and I would be more than happy to help any troop leader work through a Take Action project, especially during COVID right now.
So Rachel has commented that the Humane Society has online needs, so you can go through with the girls to pick what they want to buy. Maybe if you did that individually, if girls, even if they have their parent pick it up from the store, it's still the girl's choice of what it was and how they're doing it.
I've also had a great experience with my girls personally, where realizing how money is spent by going online, because right now we can't go to the store so easily like we used to be able to. They actually see how much money how much it actually costs, and then what the taxes are, and then if there's any shipping that's involved, and they're surprised then how much they thought, oh, it was just like a few bucks, that's not very much, and then when they find out it was actually like 30 bucks, and then with shipping on top, you're looking at 35 and then tax 40, and then I make them pay for it. They're like, wow, I didn't realize it was that much, Mom. So I think doing some of this stuff virtually has been really helpful for them to really understand money, as well as just how technology works too.
Well, again, we want to thank everybody for joining us, and continue to put your comments in the comment log. We will see them and other people will learn from them. If you have any questions or any ideas for future the Q&As, please send it to customer care. And again, thank you.
Thank you. We look forward to seeing you next month. Bye.